plan. To kindly give us some short welcome message, please, Dr. Sid.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. สวัสดีครับทุกท่านครับที่มาร่วมในการประชุมครั้งนี้ครับ I do hope that walking after the meal for the foreigner participant is will benefit to your health, and I think you gain something than when you walk with the biggest agricultural fair here. We call เกษตร fair because it's the biggest agricultural fair in the country. In this fair, farmer is our main target for the exhibition. So you will have to choose to visit Jakapan Pensiri building. It's you just walking to that. You can see some research, some innovation, and appropriate technology, and some career training that we give to the farmer for the alternative as an off-farm activity for them. Also exhibited in there every year. On behalf of เกษตรศาสตร์ University Project Team, it is an honor and privilege for us to welcome all of delegates from ASEAN country and also Thai participants that join this project. We do hope that within 2 days for meeting and 1 day for excursion to the Royal Development Study Center could be fruitful and give you some perspective of sustainable land management or SLM that we try to reach our goal. Finally, I wish you all will enjoy in this regional forum in KU and keep some experience back to your country, also knowledge, technology, even a small souvenir that you can buy from here to your families. And we do hope that we would like you to scale up and modify some technology you earn from this forum to your own condition. We need to adjust for your country condition. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, all participants. I work for the Land Development Department. It's under the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives of Thailand. It is FAO's national partner on the implementation of the global projects on decision support for mainstreaming and scaling out sustainable land management, or the Ds-Slm. The project promotes the mapping and assessment tools for land degradation and drought and sustainable land management practices, technologies and their associated approaches, as well as decision support tools for improved cross-sectoral and participatory land use, resources planning and strategic investment frameworks. The project activities will contribute and address the implementation of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification 10-year strategy, particularly the need for scientific and technology excellence in the implementation of the UNCCD and strengthening of partnerships that provides enabled policy environment for the LDD and SLM at the national and global levels. LDD, or Land Development Department, is the national focal point agency for Thailand's implementation of the UNCCD. FAO developed the guideline for the national assessment of land degradation and conservation using LiDAR WOCAT mapping approach. The guideline can serve as a reference to the consultants. In close collaboration with the NPC, or National Project Coordinator, focal point of the Land Development Department, the focal point of the working group of the National Project Coordinating Unit, and the contract implementing agency and project expert The Ds-Slm will perform the following tasks. 1. Responsible for identification and coordination of documenting, evaluating, and sharing of SLM technology or knowledge using the standard tools and method for documenting SLM technologies and approaches together with volunteer soil doctors and other land users and concerned extension against agents at the local level. Organize and lead the training of the trainer on the questionnaire and database on SLM technologies and approaches to be conducted by WCAT Participatory Expert Assessment. And the third one is conduct in-depth documentation of SLM technologies and approaches for implementation in the landscape for quality review and entry into the national and global WCAT database. 4. To increase the awareness and understanding of the key stakeholders and decision makers on the SLM together, finding solutions to land degradation problems through national and local participatory stakeholders' participation using FAO methodology and sharing and exchanging knowledge on the good SLM practices, approaches, and technologies, and scaling up ecosystem services that will solve land degradation at the local and national level. On the behalf of Land Development Department, we would like to thank you to FAO, Mr. Shalinkov, Mr. Yao, and Ms. Rosalut de la Rosa, in collaboration with Soil and Fertilizer Society of Thailand and Kasetsat University for organizing this very important event to kick off the Ds-Slm Forum. And also, we would like to thank you, all participants here, for joining us Asian Regional Forum on the decision support for mainstreaming and scaling up of sustainable land management, the Ds-Slm. Yes, thank you.
ฮัลโหลครับอันนี้ก็ได้ So dear Professor Stefan Cherinkov, FAO Global Projects Manager, Dr. บรรเจิดลักษณ์จินดลิศ National Projects Coordinators, and Dr. อัตสิทธิ์วงศ์มณีโรจน์ เกษตรศาสตร์ University Projects Consultant. Distinguished participants from Asian country and from Thailand. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Soil and Fertilizer Societies of Thailand, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Food and Agriculture Organization, Land Development Department, Kasetsat University to let our society join these valuable projects, which directly involved in the national resources, especially in soil, land, water, sustainable management. It is great honor and pleasure for me to be here with you in the kick-off opening event of the forum at Kasetsat University today. First of all, I'd like to please welcome all of you to Thailand and attend this forum in the same time that we have the Kaset Fair. With the fair is mainly emphasized on research and development in agricultural matter in Thailand. If considered about the soil and land resources, we face the serious problem on soil and land degradation. In the FAO document, in the title of Status of the World's Soil Resources, published in 2015, if remember that year is the year of the soils. It mentioned that we have 5 lengths of the soil degradation in this region. The first is the soil erosion, organic carbon change, salination, nutrient imbalance, and soil contamination respectively. However, land degradation in Thailand is cover more than 80% of the agricultural area. Or most of land users face this land degradation, and they need to solve this problem with the utilization of their soil and land in sustainable approach. This is a good time to share the experience on your knowledge on the best practices in the sustainable land management, how to scaling up and mainstreaming use of SLM, how to increase the awareness and understanding in conserve, improve, and restore the land resources. So the important point is how to let them accept and adopt these sustainable land management technologies, and how to make the strong collaboration and network of this activity in the region, in these regions. Distinguished participants, I and our society, with this kick-off event of the forum, could enhance the decision support of the mainstreaming and scaling up of the sustainable land management, not only in Thailand, but also in these regions, and generate the benefit of the impact of the soil and land resources toward the sustainable land management. Finally, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizer, partner who worked so hard to make this forum happen. Moreover, I and my society wish you all would make the very success story in this Asian Regional Forum. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, dear members here on the podium. I am very pleased that we come together in the coming days, and I would like to thank the Kasasert University for organizing this event, together with the other partners we have here in Thailand, and especially under the lead of the Land Development Department, who gives us the national project coordinator of this global project. As you know, the project is a global project which FAO is carrying out in 15 countries, and 4 of them are in Asia. I'm very pleased that we have participants from these countries here with us. There are partners from Bangladesh, which are represented here with 4 different institutions. From the Philippines, we have participants from the Department of Agriculture. From China, we have participants from the Institute of Forest Inventory and Planning. From Thailand, we have our partners here, which is the Soil and Fertilizer Society, the university, of course, Land Development Department, and experts which are working in the project. Then we have also, and this I find very good, also other countries participating here from the region, which are not directly involved in the project, but which are interested to see what we are doing. And we have participants here from Laos, from Cambodia, and from Sri Lanka. And so I welcome all these colleagues and partners, and I hope we will have over the next 2 days a very good exchange of our experiences on how we can best address land degradation issues, which you were already outlining, which are a serious problem for some of the agricultural production areas in our countries. And we do not only want to assess the land degradation, we also want to see what are the solutions we can offer, and what are best practices or good practices of sustainable land management, which can allow us to continue the needs for the production of agriculture on one side and maintaining the resource bases and of our natural resources, land and water. So in this respect, I hope we will have a very good exchange over the coming days. This global project wants to promote also the exchange of information between different institutions, not only institutions inside the country, which is very important, but also across the countries. And this meeting, the forum of this week, is one of the good examples we can show. We had similar activities also in Latin America and in the North African Near East region. And so I'm very pleased that we can have this event also here. And thank you again for the university to organizing it. And welcome everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for co-organizations. Kasetsat University, on behalf of the organizer, we provide some souvenir to give to all of our co-organizations. May I invite Dr. Somsi Arunin? Could you please to kindly give the souvenir for all of our co-organizations? Please, Dr. Somsi. ยืนไหมคะยืนไหมคะข้างล่างไหมคะThank you very much, Dr. Somsi, and thank you for all participants again. And then now, may I turn this stage back to the facilitator for these sections. Please welcome Dr. Please welcome Ms. Rosaluz de la Rosa and Dr. Banjer Lakjintarit to moderate the next session.อาจารย์ขึ้นเลยค่ะ
Not enough. ข้างบนได้เชือดง่ายๆหน่อยพวกเราจะได้โดนเชือดง่ายๆหน่อย
ค่ะฮัลโหลค่ะก็วุ่นวายเล็กน้อยนะคะในการจัดที่เพราะว่าข้างหน้าก็แคบไปนิดนึงค่ะก็เชิญท่านผู้ทรงคุณวุฒิก็บีบเบียดกันหน่อยนะคะโอเค perfect โอเค ไม่เป็นไรค่ะเอาไว้ข้างๆ
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me too? Yes.
Very good. P.Il, take it away.
Huh?
You start.
I start.
Yes.
Okay ค่ะอันนี้ก็เป็น Okay, this is a forum for the interviewing all of the consultants that have a lot of knowledge about the SLM and also the land use system, and so they have a lot of experience recording right now. So we work for already about 8 months. So now, yes, they are ready to answer some questions for make you understand about this project, and also for her experience. They have a lot. So, okay, the first question I would like to ask Dr. Arunin, Dr. Somsi Arunin. She is an expert in saline soil. Everybody knows her, right? She worked in the Department of Land Development before. Now she already retired, but also consultant of many organizations too.
Thank you.
Could you please introduce yourself first?
ได้ยินไหมฮะไม่ต้องใช้อ่ะไม่มีฮะไม่ได้เตรียมเพราะว่าเขาบอกมากระทันหันI introduce myself. I am a national consultant to this project and have been working in the saline soil problem in land development department for more than 30-40 years. And then actually all the information I joined this project is already have been done for maybe 30-40 years already. Then it's easy for me to this kind of work. The main responsibility is I try to organize all the information, all the technologies and approaches according to FAO and WCAT guidelines in order to make all this information, the knowledge to be transferable to these 15 countries. So we will understand the same information if we have what kind of new technology or approaches we can share. And then the other thing is we have the information, our own system, but it's not transferable among other countries. So after I joined this project, I learned that many things we can learn from other countries as well. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to start the first question. Can you give us an idea what was your role in the Ds-Slm project? And okay, you would like to give more? You would like to give more? I mean,
no.
So, and in your own opinion, how should we make sure that farmers also use the information of the documentation of Thailand's best practices on SLM?
I would like to thank FAO as well as เกษตรศาสตร์ University to invite me to join the project, and then it gives me an opportunity to learn that the work has been done in the LD for 30-40 years ago is so what you call multiply and scaling up as well as scaling out in the bigger area due to the support of the DLD project, which has been done for 30-40 years ago, is still supporting the farmers. And actually, soil salinity is a problem of land degradation, very serious problem. And the farmer themselves, they don't understand well. They just need, higher income, additional higher income, that's all. But our department has a different goal. We want to prevent salination. We want to combat desertification. So we have a different purpose. By giving support to the farmers, we are able to reach that goal. We are able to prevent salination through this, what we call landscape salinity. You know, I don't have prepare my slides, but we have the landscape salinity means we have recharge area in the upper slope and then discharge area in the down slope, and then the recharge area we have downward movement of water, fresh water, and then it dissolves salt along the path, and finally it's upward movement to the low-lying area. So what we were doing is we try to explain to the farmers that we help them to utilize the recharge area and then try to help them to get higher income. At the same time, we need to prevent salinization in the discharge off-site area, which they don't understand. At the beginning, we have a problem to try to educate them that if they are able to prevent salination in the discharge area, they said it's not their duty to do so. That's why the government try to support so many, kinds of help. And then finally, for instance, we have the project of planting perennial trees on the recharge area to utilize excess water that can help, the salination in the low-lying area. And then the other one is we try to help the farmers who lived on the heavily salt-affected land by utilize halophyte, which is a very, very salt tolerance. I don't know whether I answer.
Well, you can see this is institutional memory of 40 years history. We are documenting through this project because we have the world's expert on saline soil. And we want to thank you, Dr. Simsi. Not only Thailand expert, but world's expert. So what is your secret for staying young? You don't look like it. Okay, so Piong, next question, please.
Yes, for Mr. Kukiat, because Dr. Somsi and Mr. Kukiat work also in the technology, SLM on technology and approaches. So I would like to continue with Mr. Kukiat. Can you give us an idea what was your role in the SLM projects?
Thank you, Dr. Manjatlack. Thank you, Rosa. Good afternoon, everyone. May I apologize that dress is not well as Dr. Pitayakon because I drive from the north of Thailand to here. So sorry that I come late as well. As your question, I will share our experience. I was assigned by the projects so the last 4 months. And they asked me to assist the project, the Ds-Slm, to document get the lesson learned from the success story from the Thailand user. They assigned me to respond on the eastern and western part of Thailand. So that is the region that's where less of the problem is the acidity, laterite soil, low fertility, and they use land for a long time, so land degradation is serious problem. The loans of mine that the projects that assigned me by your document, Dr. Manjatlack, you assigned me that by the end of last year, I have to finish 10 documentation by QA and QT to support the project. So the sentence that they give to me. But in the real life, when I go to work, I saw that the issue that they give to me to work as to document the success story of the land user in Thailand is not easy because the mindset of the stakeholder who involved with the project, they have different mindset because their direct benefit is from their business. Farmer, they want to get the product from their business, not land. The stakeholder from the government, they just doing the government, their responsibility by department. Like a land department, they just concerned with land or soil department. When they go to rice department, just concern majority is just think about the commodity. So when I join with this project, my role is how to make them better understanding, focal points to make them have the same common understanding to the end of the product that we want within 4 months. So my role is how to make them more understanding what we are doing, because the FAO apply vocab questionnaire that quite a long, a big topic. When you apply that big tick like this and ask the farmer to get the data, it's not easy. So how to simplify the document that you want, the lesson learned from the farmer, that is my job. The second one, when we work with the officer from the national level, provincial level, and grassroots level, it's not easy to make understanding at the same way. So my role have to clear, let them more understand and focus the thing that we want within 4 months. That is my majority job that have been done. So that is critical points. But finally, my role is just how to collect the data on time, how to get the good data, that's my responsibility, and how to edit the data that we want and meet to the objective of the project. That is my major role. Okay, that's my answer.
Okay, according to his experience, so we already have 2 persons from Thailand, and the next one would be from China, Professor Wang. And what I would like to ask you, because as one of the 4 countries participating in this global Ds-Slm project, can you tell us briefly, since when did your country, China, started to become involved, and how did China become involved? And so far, what do you think is the benefit for your country to be involved in this global project?
Okay. I stand up. Thank you. This is my second time to visit Bangkok for this project. Because the last time I should come here for local level training, just the limited, so I cannot come here. Since your questions, because China have I ask your question in 2 aspects. One, in China have our national certifications, land declarations, assessment, and monitors every 5 years. This is China national. And the second, China is LADA 1 since 2000, about 90 years ago, LADA 1. So in LADA 1, this is the one of 6 countries. China only one of Asia countries. Another Argentina or South Africa or Tunisia, this other another country. So as LADA 1, we conducted global level product and finish national level land use mapping and national level land assessment with the QM, and the local level, this is 6 pilot site. This is LADA 1. So you mean that that's a Ds-Slm. This is, I think, LADA 2. This is focus for SLM, sticking out and sticking up. Why? Because in this morning, Stephen said that we conduct land assessment. Purpose is to find the solution. This is the main, all of the overall project, overall objective to SLM or LADA is to find the solution. So is the SLM, Sustainable Land Management measure, is our final result. So in Ds-Slm, in China is as the 4 country of Asia. This is LADA 2. We start cooperation and guidelines as FAO since 2015. So we have finished 3 work. First, we finished national report, a national level SLM skin out. This is the policy, strategy, and the measures. This finished last year. This year also finished local level at in Mongolia as the neutral banner. We have delivered the report in Chinese version to the FAO. Third, with the cooperation with the GF OB12. Would you please give my bag? I can show you. Yeah. I forgot that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big books.
Yeah.
Quite heavy.
But this is this is our result. This SLM project with the GFOB12. This is in China. We have collected up the model. There's 8 type of land degradation, and with the 22 SLM measures. So this is third result. This is the best practice for SLM in dryland area of China. Third versions. So this is the already third. Because in LADA 1, we published the 27 in LADA 1. Yeah, 27 published. Second is more than 20. This, yeah. Almost more than maybe near 100 best practice. So this is the, yeah. In fact, in China, just in dry land, we have more than 200 or 500 best practice. We should collect, we should analyze, we should review what the meaning of the best practice. This should suit for the local side. They can combine the land degredations. So we are concerned about it. We are very careful collect what the really best practices can combine this book. So this is our third result. And because the SLM project is focus how to skin up the best practice. So in our 2 report, first report I have delivered to Stephen. Now in Chinese version, we try to finish our translation from Chinese to English version. In local level, I tried at the banner, at the county, at the pilot site. We go to field site to interview local officers, local farmers, find what meaning of the best practice, how to sync up the best practice with the China national project. Because in China, we are every 5 years in central government we will establish national project, such as protected natural forestry, conservation of the grassland, farmland to grassland, or combating sandstorm, such. So how to involve our Ds-Slm to national or local level project? These are key issues how to skin up. For the international benefit, first, China have the cooperation with LADA, FAO. In LADA 1, we deliver the training for Philippines, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. So we also go to the Bangladesh. So in SLAM 2, we also cooperate the training for Thailand. So maybe in future we can cooperate with more countries to focus first step, how to conduct land assessment, but more important, how to skin up each country's best practice. So this is our first step how to think about it. Because time limited, I just give just this idea. Okay, thank you. This maybe give you for you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, this is interesting because you see that China has been doing the land degradation assessment since 10 years. 10 years now.
No. For LADA, it maybe 10 years ago. But for China, we have 50 years. For China, we conduct our national land degradation that's more than 50 years. Yes. More than 30 years. Yeah.
More than 30 years.
Yes.
And if they have about 150 best practices, what is the number of your population? just joking. But you can see, the bigger the country, the more best practices. But Thailand also, Dr. Kukiat, how many best practices we're aiming for Thailand?
So that's, for him, only the east and west of Thailand, around 12.
So hopefully we can do many, many more. But let's congratulate China for being our leader.
But for the
best practices, we must review. Not every practice is the best practice. Yes. So the key issues, key ideas, what the meaning of the best practice, they should be focused. They should have the benefit, good result to the competent this side, local. So how to scale up? This means the scale up is, for example, in China, these measures in north of China cannot scale up to the west. This should be considered the natural resources, consider the political environment. So need the why in my report in Chinese I will try to translate in English. This need how to scale up. This is every country should think about that.
Yes, in Thailand, right now, totally, now we have around 50 technologies that we collected from 8 months. We have 4 consultants, so we work together with our consultants for each part of Thailand, northern, southern, and west and east.
You will hear more during the next 3 days about all of this information. I also want to take this opportunity with Stefan to thank, and on behalf of Ds-Slm Thailand, to thank Professor Wang for giving us the training, sharing us the knowledge, and being our partner to help us go through the process of understanding the methodology. So,
because China is the first or second country that work for LADA and also the QA/QT questionnaire for technology and also approaches. So right now, he is a lot of experience. So he came to Thailand 2 months or 3 months ago to train us to do this kind of work. And yes, thank you, Mr. Wang. Thank you very much. And for the next one, maybe it would be the Mohammad Sarab Ali from Department of Environment, Bangladesh. And thank you that you come here this time in Thailand. Okay, the question will be, as one of the countries that join the global project, are there plans to increase the awareness of technicians in your department and policymakers in Bangladesh to apply the results of activities for future sustainable land management strategy of Bangladesh?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say good afternoon, everybody. And then I would like to thank Kasetsat University and the FAO for inviting us to this important meeting. Before going to answer your question, I would like to share some information And I think you will get the answer, relevant question. I think our country situation will guide us in future what to do. Because you know the Bangladesh is a very small country with very large population, and the number of population is increasing, and the net cultivable area, agricultural land, is decreasing. So from decreasing area, we need to provide food support of increasing population. So two different directions. And this is the very big problem for us. And regarding policy, we have National Land Use Policy 2001 that we need to upgrade this one. And also we have National Environment Policy 1992, but we have upgraded in 2017. And in the National Environment Policy, there are a specific chapter for how to combat land degradation and also salinity, because in Bangladesh, salinity is a very big problem, especially in the southern part of Bangladesh. So this is the Bangladesh situation. And there are also the international obligations for Bangladesh. You know, the Bangladesh is a signatory of United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. So we are obliged to materialize the decisions of the UNCCD. And also, you know that every country need to fulfill the SDG target, Sustainable Development Target, and especially here I would like to mention the target 15, SDG 15, target 15.3. So to combat desertification, land degradation and drought, we have drought also in Bangladesh. We already developed National Action Plan for combating desertification, land degradation and drought. This is a program we developed for 10 years. 10 years. And another 18 program area, we have identified 128 activities, and we have mentioned which activity will be implemented by which agency of the government. So this is how we have identified our activities to address land degradation. And at this moment, we are implementing this Ds-Slm project. I am the national coordinator of this project in Bangladesh. And also we are implementing a project establishing national land use and land degradation profile towards mainstreaming SLM practices in sector policies. So this is another project we are implementing now. Now where we shall identify the SLM practices, document, and also we shall prepare the roadmap for SLM practices under this project. And also we have undertaken another project, the ecosystem-based approaches to adaptation in drought-prone area, and the wetland, our wetland area. So these are the projects by Department of Environment. But other department also implementing other activities. For example, the Agriculture Extension Department, they are implementing the IPM, this kind of activities, Integrated Pest Management Program. Soil Resources Development Institute, they are implementing the different program. For example, they are advocating for using balanced fertilizer in the agriculture field. So some of the activities we have already undertaken, and in future we shall we want to scale up the SLM practices that we shall identify under this Ds-Slm project and the establishing national land use and land degradation profile project. So under these two projects, we shall identify the SLM projects, and then we shall go for scaling up the SLM project in Bangladesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali. Okay, before we move on to the next person, we would like to give the honor. This year, World Soil Day 2018, World Soil Day Award in this year. Bangladesh, to get it, please. Yes. Okay, we move on to the next one. Dr. Rajendra Chestra, SLM expert, and he is a professor in AIT, Asian Institute of Technology. The question will be, as one of the key SLM experts in the region, can you give us your advice? How can countries involved in the SLM find a balance in making sure that sustainable land management approaches are people-centered, addressing farmers' needs and other land users, and at the same time combating soil problem?
Thank you, Dr. Banjalak. Yeah, can we hear?
Hello.
You want to use two mics?
I am the last speaker, so I plan to speak longer so that I can bore you. No, I was joking. Yeah, at the outset, I thank you, the organizer, the LED Ds-Slm group and the Kasetsat University for this interaction session. Yeah, as Dr. Bandalok mentioned, that I am affiliated with Asian Institute of Technology, and my areas of interest are on the land use, land cover, land degradation, sustainable land management, etc., related to anything related to land. So if you are related to land, then I would be interested to do that kind of research. Now, with regard to the questions that Dr. Bandalag asked, just to put in the context, the current this session is being organized in relation to a project which we have heard that is called as a decision support for sustainable land management. And Thailand is one of the very active countries around the world that you heard from Stephen. And the questions relates with the balance in making sure that SLM approaches that are people-centered. Now, before I jump into answering that questions, I want to put in the context. Now, as the project goes, the major idea is that how do we control land degradation so that we continue to enjoy the production from the land for a long, long time. That is what the concept of the sustainability. So that includes production plus conservation of the resources. I think that is the key word. Now, as Dr. Kukiat also mentioned that he charged in finding many different technology, that would mean that we need the technology to correct those different land degradation problems. Now, technology could be of anything. We need a technology in our daily life. Similarly, what technology matters, what technology can be useful to address those land degradation problems, which are many different types. And many of you are very sure, and you know that they could be like agronomic, that could be vegetative method of technologies, that could be structural, and that could be another management type of the technology. Now, what is important is once we know the technology, we need to be able to use it. So we need to find a ways and means to use those kind of best practices, the technologies. And that is what the approaches means in this context of the Ds-Slm. So this is the approaches. Approach means the ways and means that used to implement one of those technology, okay, that addressing salinity issue, addressing soil erosion issue, addressing low soil fertility issue, and so on. Now, we have not heard the soil and water conservation or the land conservation for the first time. We have been hearing it for a long, long time, since 60s, 1960s and 70s, even starting with environmental awareness. Now, that time when we implemented around the world, then most of them were the top-down intervention, that the people were asked what to do during 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s. So probably during 1990s, the people start to talk farmer-first approach in land conservation or soil and water conservation. So this is something like what Dr. Bonzolo very carefully asked, people-centered, means the farmer first. But yet we do have to go a long way, because we yet don't go there as the people first, farmer first, or the people center. Now this relates with the participation actually, because when we say people first, we are talking about the farmers who are actual land users. We may know very good technology, how to solve the problem, but if farmer does not use it, then we don't get our objective achieved. We don't get our land being restored or conserved. But there are many other issues coming as the, like transdisciplinary issues. It is not only farmers, land department. Land department is one of the finest departments in Thailand, and I know the region very fairly well, and not many countries have this kind of unique department. But Dr. Kukiad also just mentioned before that how he finds difficulties. He wants to the rice department, he went to the irrigation department, but there is a problem of the coordination, or there is less coordination. So there is issue of the stakeholder in terms of the vertical and in terms of the horizontal issues when we talk about those kind of transdisciplinary issues. Now, what we need to understand that it is not what you call as a silver bullet. There is no one kind of method to apply those SLM approaches, because the approaches are basically social process. How we sensitize, how we, make the farmer to be involved in that process in adopting the technology. So in that case, this is very contextual. There is no any systematic classifications. So we need to understand the local processes. We need to understand the local environment, in what setup our farmers, our land users are working. It is not only theirs, internal farm level factors, but outside. For example, what is the extension role? What is the role of the investment organization like bank? What is the role of other stakeholders, et cetera, et cetera? So this is very contextual in that sense. And that is why this project is trying to find out, and which again, gentleman here, right side, Dr. Pitiakon, they are working on finding what you call as a base technology or base SLM practices and the based approaches. Now, with regard to approaches, there have been many such kind of development around the world, in Africa, in Asia. They are called in different names like participatory research and development, participatory learning and action. There is good one in the Australia like land care. We talk about now payment for ecosystem services, community-based natural resource management, et cetera, et cetera. These are all the kind of the approaches. Now, the key question when you say people-centered, I want to emphasize that it's about the participation, where not only the land user or farmer participate, but all the stakeholders at different levels have to participate to realize that technology is being adopted, and ultimately we are able to control land degradation, for the long term. Now, maybe I spoke already too long, so just to summarize, a successful approach, this is why it's usually characterized by people-centered. It should be responsive, it should be participatory, it should be practical. We can't just give a theoretical things which the farmer will not adopt, and the multi-level and the multi-stakeholder in a given that particular environment, what is the social, economic, and the policy environment, or even the ecological environment, in what condition they are working. So for a government, I think to find this kind of balance, I would certainly think the first is to build the capacity of the local organization, which my friend, he just mentioned, that we need to have the stakeholder understanding this, the importance of the adoption of those kind of technology, because it is for everyone. If the land is degraded, it's not only farmers suffer, then we will also suffer. If they have less production, we have less food to eat. That means we will pay more for the food. Okay, so capacity building, bringing awareness of all these stakeholders, I think that is one of the major important point. The second would be, in my opinion, like, the commitment from all involved, that farmers or the land users should get the commitment for all the stakeholders and all the inputs needed on time so that they are encouraged. We also know if you don't like something, we will not adopt it. So it goes same with the farmer also. If they are not satisfied, they will not follow that. That is so simple. Now, to do that, we also need to raise the trust that farmers believing other stakeholders and other stakeholders believing the ability and the capacity of the farmers. I think there are these 3-4 points perhaps that is needed that would help ensure the implementation of the better SLM approaches. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you heard some of the main issues that we will be talking about in the next few days. But I think this moment, I think we want to give the floor to the audience from all of you. If you want to ask more questions or you have ideas on your own, from your own context, in your own country, in your own setting, and in your own role, whether as researcher, policymaker, student, or whatever.
Thank you very much. I am from Bangladesh, but which part from I am coming, the northwestern part of Bangladesh. This part is very dried area, similar to China, Professor Wang Sen Jung, area like that. I want to give thanks FAO. They are taking the initiative to documentation of SLM practices in UCAR tools and LADA. I know that. That is why we know the best practices of in different countries. We know that practices. We want to know that practices. So it is very potential for us, like us, the practitioners. We are mostly actually practitioner. So I want to thank the FAO part. Thank you.
I am A.K. Manjur Alam Chaudhary from Bangladesh. Thank you all and good afternoon. I am soil scientist and also agriculturist in Bangladesh and Soil Research Development Institute in Bangladesh. I am working scientist last 22 years among salinity, laboratory analysis, land use planning, including etc. My suggestion is to the forum. There are 14 countries more or less involved in this forum. Previously, Madam already said the salinity. I think that there are 14 countries, and every country have the salinity problem. It depends on the area of the production or strength of the salinity. It depends on. But in our country, Bangladesh, we also already demarcation already 10% of the area of the Bangladesh is affected by the soil salinity, and every 5 years we survey and demarcation the area how much percentage of the soil are infected by salinity year after year. And according to the survey, it is very easy to ask how we will manage the soil, how we will manage the technology or technology development, and how will the awareness of the farmers, how will they get the technology and when they will use the technology, this is also the sustainable land management. And I want to say including the 14 countries, what are the technologies they are developing in their country? We collect all the technologies and accumulate the technology, and which technology is very much defendable and effective of the soil salinity management, and we should explore the idea and technology in whole of the 16 countries or 4 countries all over the world. I have some slide. Tomorrow I will present there what are the SRDR activities of the saline soil or dry soil or acidic soil or hill soil. I have some reports and some data I will present tomorrow. Thank you.
Very good. I think that's a very good recommendation for the forum, that if we can think about one technology that we can explore a bit more in terms of going more in depth in its applicability based on the type of soil, of whether it's saline soil. This is an opportunity for us to talk about in the working groups. Anyway, we will discuss it tomorrow. One example, we will exactly try to do this model in the biochar initiative, because biochar is actually very well researched in the country of Thailand. And so we were trying to see how we can bring together all of these researchers and find a way to see how we can all work together. So we actually invited somebody from the exhibit who is actually working on biochar who didn't know about our forum, and maybe we can engage some of this.
For your biochar example, in Bangladesh, I for an example of Bangladesh. Bangladesh has 15 physiographics of the units. There are different types of soils. Some soils are high pH, some are low pH, some are neutral pH. If you use the biochar is maximizing the soil pH. And if you use this biochar, it is not easy for all soils of Bangladesh, but all soils of anywhere. Because biochar, it contains the soil pH become high. Only for the acidic soil we can use the biochar, but in the alkaline soil, never we can use this soil. But our most of the scientists, those are not involved in the soil or in any farmers. They do not know about the soil pH. So we cannot use this biochar in everywhere in the country. It is only for negative points of the biochar.
Thank you very much. I also want to remind us that this is not a technical meeting. While we are going to discuss about the important issues that we find in the variation of analysis, we will have to find a way how to work together later on. We are going to talk about the ways and means how we can all be connected in our own interest. But actually, it's very good to point out those kinds of issues. We look forward to your presentation tomorrow. We want to hear from the Philippines, because the Philippines actually is also one of the countries. And if you can just say hello and just say what so far you're going to be presenting during the forum. Fines.
Good afternoon. Tomorrow we will be presenting our output for the Ds-Slm for the Philippines, and the LADA, and also for the ASOCON.
Again, one of the first generation SLM, LADA, together with China in the Asia region. So we are happy to have you here. We actually can ask our Sri Lankan friends, welcome.
Yes, I am Nimal Gunasena from Sri Lanka. We are implementing the Sustainable Land Management Program there with the support of FAO and Jeff Fund. Actually, the meaning of arrival of this meeting for us is we want to learn how to adapt Ds-Slm system and the walk-at approach for our program. Actually, now we are doing various activities in the field, and Professor Dr. Rajendra also. Now we are going to take as our consultant. So that's why we came here. So I like to talk on this regard in the end of the day. What we got this, I like to explain in the end of the session. Yeah.
Thank you. We also have our partners from Cambodia. Sorry, it's short. Sophia.
Okay, thank you, Rosa.
Say something about your involvement in the sustainable land management. First, also your organization.
Okay, thanks, Rosa. I am Sophia from Cambodia. Actually, thank you for short invitation. Yeah, we have a small project funded by IFAD related to SLM, and we follow the VOCAD Ds-Slm framework. Which is we got the expert from University of Bern, and yeah, so far we implementing the Ds-Slm framework, and actually we so far have documented from the project is 24 technologies and one approach, and we have other technologies that documented by other experts. So now if you go into the global database of the VOCAD and put Cambodia, we have almost 40, I don't remember, maybe 38 or 39 technologies. And yeah, tomorrow I will present a little bit about the title put strategies to incentivize investment in SLMs. And I will share from our projects what we have implemented and what we are going to implement, and also some related to our scaling up SLM and also climate change adaptation technologies. Yes, thank you and nice to meet you all.
Great, we look forward to your presentation and more exchange. And our friend from Laos, PDR, Ms. Boam.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm from Laos. We are from the same project with Cambodia. We have Laos, Cambodia, and Uganda. So, so we work on. Tomorrow, I'm going to present on how the experience working with extension worker to scaling up of SLM. We work with document form smallholder practice. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I think we have one more question from Thailand, or many more questions. Yes?
Dr. A. Yeah, the new generation of LED, yes.
Yes, I'm Natapon from Office of Science for Land Development. Based on all the expert answers, I just wonder, like, so this means every country, we have our own technologies. This is correct? The problem is, that's what I want to know, have we ever compare our technologies between our country within 15 countries? And at the moment, I think the problem is about implementation, right? So do you have like a flow chart how we can get to the goals, like farmer can adopt our technologies? And that's what I want to ask our expert.
Let me ask Dr. Rajendra. Could you please answer this question?
Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, that's true. Every country have their technology. That technology would mean the best way to do something. Best way to do something means to correct that problems. For example, how do we do soil water conservation? Now, every country have a different technology. Does not mean they are completely different. That means the indigenous or locally available techniques which have been proven successful to bring the positive result. For example, if you want to control land degradation or soil erosion, so local way of doing things that our people have invented themselves. Okay, that is what the technology means. Now, this kind of techniques in Cambodia, in Laos, there may be similarity also. It doesn't mean that they are completely different, okay? So the idea is to identify such kind of technology and approach which are proven successful locally. For example, in Chiang Rai, what farmers do may not necessarily apply in the south. So that is what the documentation of the technology means and approach. Now, in terms of how the country can, share, there is actually a way to do it, and that is where tomorrow or day after tomorrow you will discuss. There is even organizations, group of the researchers and the farmers. They collect this information and put in one place. Now, that is what the WOCAT means. And Dr. Banjalak herself is a WOCAT expert. So yes, to answer means we can share, we can get those technology. But my personal opinion is that we should test the technology before we use. Like there may be very good technology in China, useful for northern part of Bangladesh, but then it's better to test first whether that technology will work or not, and then we can apply. But there is a provision to share and to learn from each other. I'm not sure.
The other question is, how many years that you think each technology can stay, like at least 10 years or 5 years? Can you guess? How long before KPI?
That is difficult to say. Like iPhone 6s Plus come and iPhone 7, 8, 9 immediately come, right? So technology are useful as long as they are able to be used for intended purpose. So it is very hard to say that what is the lifetime of any technology. I work with a lot of climate technology. Like in WOCAT, in climate group, we call as the technology fact sheet. Okay, so it is hard to say what is the lifetime of any technology, right? So I can't answer that.
I just wonder, normally we have to clarify, if we want to have impact for something, at least we need to think about how many years, farmers gonna adopt these technologies for at least 5 years, so we can calculate for the impacts, for example. That's what I
think that is possible. Because here we're looking for technology not to increase the production, but the land management sustainable means how do we maintain the production and also maintain the quality of the land. So depending on the health of the land, depending on the condition of land, a particular technology may be used for a long time to achieve that conservation. So that can be calculated by certainly scientists, of course, the researchers who are working, but it's hard to say exactly 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Nopani Suwannang from Land Development Department, Thailand. My question concern about that, because we are now working in the global level, as you have seen someone say about that. And under this global level, we have the regional, some country in the regional levels. So when we speaking about the sustainable land management, how can we know that this is the sustainable? Do we already think about the indicator that, okay, for the salinity, if you come to this level, the indicator in this level, you say that this practice is good and you can transfer this as a best practice to the farmer. And the second question concern to the work of Dr. Wang, because China can have a lot of best practice. So I would like to learn that how the China think that is a good diamond, that you can go faster compared to the other country, as you all have a lot of technology and best practice that can transfer and give this knowledge to the other countries to benchmark or compare.
ไม่ได้อ่ะมันต้องมาทางนู้นอ่ะ
Okay, I would just like to rephrase your question. Two questions. Okay. Okay. Who would like to answer first the indicator for sustainable land management? Maybe.
Well, let me share the thing that I know, maybe be not your answer. Because under the WOCAT questionnaire, they get the data concerning with the economics impact. They got the technical impact. They got the community impact as well. So it means that sustainability can be declared by that they get the profit from the technology, that the environmental indicator that show that it's friendly to their communities. And finally, it's the people in that community that accept that technology. So the three things that in the questionnaire that we got, if the answer is yes, it means possibility to be sustained. May I answer that question, something like that?
Maybe I did not hear very clearly. I would like to ask about for three of this, one is the economic, and the other is the like environment friendly, something like this. And how about the health of the soil? Do you have something like a key indicator to prove that you are come to the sustainable of this soil for this kind of management?
Maybe Dr. Banjarat can be the good answer because he's the chairman of the projects.
Okay, we call the WOCAT questionnaire. The questionnaire for technology, we call QT. And another one, QA, questionnaire for approaches. So both of them, they can answer that how is sustainable or not sustainable, because a lot of questions over there. They cover a lot of questions, social, economic, and also in the scientific work, pH, landscape, and crops, and the opinion, the weakness, the strongest. There are a lot of questions in the questionnaire. So, okay, for example, if we think in the saline soil, if we think that we grow the eucalyptus, we think eucalyptus can solve the problem of saline soil, right? And okay, we go to that technology and ask the question for the farmers around that area, maybe 10 or 15 farmers, and give me the question or the answer from the question. You know, we have a lot of questions inside the book. And okay, we get it and from the technology, and okay, we think this is one can solve the problem. And we go to approach. This technology can approach to other farmers. If they can approach to other farmers and farmers adopt it, it will be very sustainable because they already adopted. So, you understand? Yes, maybe for the saline soil, maybe the mother of the saline soil can answer for this. Yes.
The mother of saline soil, yes. Maybe can answer.
I'm so itchy about answering all these questions. I myself, actually, when I stand up, I myself, actually, I don't care much about these questionnaires. But from my experience of works, I know exactly that this best practice, like Professor Wang proposed this kind of book. I like it very much. We already have, I also like to accommodate your questions. I know that saline soil, quite difficult to handle. But from my experience, you need to identify that whether the salinity in that area, you want to have this preventive measure, or you want to control, or you want to have reclamation measure. The cost also different, and especially the heavily salt affected, very, very high cost management practices. So that's why we come up with some, what you call, various methodology or measures that you can offer to the farmers, whether they like to choose. For instance, this kind of heavily soil affected, no way to use reclamation method by irrigation and drainage system. Very, very costly, and then the government cannot support all those. So the best practice is to introduce halophytes, which can be the glasses. We import these glasses from University of Rhode Island. And then we have so many projects. You know, for instance, the project of halophyte, we have a cooperative research with US, from USAID support. And from this groundwater study, we have a cooperative research with University of Western Australia and Sydney. So we have all kinds of this kind of research before we come up with any practice, you know, which is we can call best practice to that area. So I can tell that FAO project, you know, I'm very happy with this, you know, collaborating with FAO project, because we are able to learn that what kind of information we have already experiences in the field to draw out those information and then fit into this WCAT or FAO requirements very easily. And then we learn that why and what technology or approach is the best. I hope I can answer
Rosa,
your questions.
Can I just, because this is a very important point, I think what is important to say that Dr. Sumsi is saying, what we are documenting, especially in Thailand, is well and tested, best practices, well researched based on collaborative research from Thailand, bilateral with another university. So that's why actually this goes to the question of the national review. Why do we need a national review for these kinds when it's well tested? We're just documenting a best practice and well tested already, right? So anyway, this is another discussion in our forum. But actually, I hope you are satisfied with the answer. Yes. Now we go to Professor Wang, because he has to answer this.
To add some more.
Okay, please.
Very loaded question, well thought. As far as I understand that we have to do a lot about the tools and the methods for sustainability assessment. So I think your question was, how do we know that we have achieved that sustainability, right? But I would not think it is so difficult to do, because the assessment of sustainability involves the indicator, as you said. And when you say indicator, it comes with a threshold. Like I can answer in principle. For example, if we say soil erosion is the indicator of land degradation, and if there is a 12 tons per hectare per year or more, that is a soil erosion condition, which is not good. That means what we apply that technology and approach, which can keep the soil erosion less than 12 tons, I would personally think that is the indication of the sustainability. So we can work on each of those land-related problems. But if you are looking for ready-made indicators, then I think there is still a lot of debate going on that what are the best tools, what are the best assessment methodology, like we are facing up the sustainable development goals and so on. There are a lot of things to do. Yeah.
We go to Professor Wang. The question, again, if you can, how are you managing? Because you have a lot of best practices and a lot of people. Yeah, what made you so advanced compared to the others in terms of collecting best practices? Dr. Noy is asking, how come China is very advanced and fast in collecting best practices? What is your secret?
The China is not fast to collect this practice because you see that each practice for that clean, sandy, protected barrier, for example, this is not only 1 year or 2 years. This your madam asked how many years the indicators. You should think about this best practice. In China, we select, because in this book, we have no introduction, the criteria to select the best practice. But in China, we have a fully set of the monetary assessment of the project system. So it is the benefit economic. For example, the measures, how to produce more target for the agriculture and forestry or grassland. This is one of the indicators. Another is the benefit for the ecological. For example, for these measures, this barrier, these measures, objective of this measure is to control move of sandstorm. Because sandstorm, because this book in dry land, all of the practice, this is suitable for the dry land. In China, dry land is a very important problem at the sandstorm moving. So the measures how to control the moving of the sandstorm. So if the measures can control the sandstorm, can stop, this can observe maybe with 2 years enough. This compare with the measure in this sandstorm with the barrier, glass barrier, we can stop the sandstorm. There are no barriers, they can move. We have the observing. So this is the one indicators. Another is, for example, a lot of the other measures. I just said in China is a lot of the local stations, local research stations, local scientific research. So all of this best practice, this connect not only 1 years. One practice maybe more than 10 years. So why we think about in China maybe more than 500 best practice, but only maybe less than 100 can combine in one report. This need review. This need analysis by local expert, by national expert, how to collect, combine in this report. So there are many criteria. There are some criteria. This need analysis by some workshop, by some meetings. So because you said that this week corporations, this published by Department of Science and Technology, this National Forestry and Grassland. So this department is in charge of the whole country's forestry or grassland science research. So in China, we have a strong organization of the scientific research. So it's not easy. Not easy to only, we cannot think about only 1 or 2 years. Maybe this depends on more than 50 years experience. Many people do hard work, because you can see in each models there are some editor. This editor just collect analysis the measures, but this editor not the criteria measures. Yeah, thank you. So it's the hard work, not only some people. This is the whole country's people's criteria. Yeah.
Let me recap that again. Again, very important lesson. Hard work, consultation, a lot of stakeholders involvement.
Professor Wang, what tools is or are being used selecting the best practices in this book? What tools?
Tools, yeah. What are the tools that you use to select the best practices? How do you select? What's your criteria?
The first, you ask the first criteria, second tools. Tools, what meaning tools? Just
The tool is the WOCAT questionnaire.
WOCAT.
The criteria for selecting the best practices.
Yeah. I ask the same question for this, madam. Each in China, we select the best practice is at least 3 indicators, type 3 indicators. First, because all of the in dry land, most of the measures was conducted in the ecological program. In China, most of the ecological project, for example, carbon destruction. Carbon destruction is first stop sand moving. So you create here that first is the ecological benefit. So it is because in these areas, dry land, this is most vulnerable of the area. So the first criteria indicators, ecological benefit. Secondly, we think about the ecological, because some measures maybe how to increase, for example, the grass products. Secondly, the social benefit. For example, these measures, how to improve the cultural benefit or the tourist, because in China, the situation is different country have different situations, circumstances. For example, in Bangladesh, I have visited Bangladesh. You first think about care about the salinized soil in Bangladesh. Because I first visit your country. So this, for example, when you select the practice, the first you think about how to choose the measure to control the salinization soil erosions. But in China is different. So I think that this question may be difficult because different countries have different criteria. Maybe I say some criteria you don't understand because in China we have our concern about. Yeah. In Bangladesh, you first, in seaside, I visit the country. You want to stop seawater in your country. This is the first. So maybe the best practice you should build the dam along the sea. Second, you maybe stop how to control the salinization in farmland. Then improve the farmer rice product. So the best practice is how to improve the soil quality. Yeah. So I think that different countries have different criteria. Yeah.
So the next.
I want to know from a few part, so far I know, WCAT is a tools. Yes. They're selecting the best practices. It is accepted worldwide, these tools.
Yes, I can answer that because WCAT is actually the official global database of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. And it's approved by more than 190 governments. The members, more than 190 governments are members of the UNCCD and endorsed the WCAT global database as the tool for UNCCD. So it's accepted globally. So anyway,
that's why I want to know this type of any tools which is accepted worldwide.
Stefan maybe can answer. Is there any other tool other than WCAT that is accepted worldwide?
I think with the WCAT database, we have a very unique tool to document best practices, sustainable land management practices, because they have over the years, I mean, WOCAT exists since 25 years, over 25 years. They have standardized and harmonized their database. So the questionnaires, even so you may think they are very complex and very long questionnaires, but on the other hand, it gives you the possibility, you know, to compare later on. Also, what Thailand has documented in drylands as compared to what China has documented in drylands. So you have a standardized way of comparing different management practices and recording them. And if I may answer also to the question on the criteria, as the colleagues were saying, there is not a general criteria, you know, for saying what is the sustainable practice. What it comes from is basically it's the criteria to choose this technology or the other one depends on the problem you want to solve also. So if you have a land degradation problem with salinization, or if you have a land degradation problem with soil erosion, maybe for wind erosion, so there you look what are the practices which are maybe, as Professor Shrestha was saying, which are maybe part of already very well-known local practices. You know, you don't have to start inventing something new. Sometimes it's very good to look what farmers are doing in order to combat wind erosion or in order to do something against salinization. And so you have, with the WOCAT database, you have that possibility to compare different measures and see what can be maybe applied from one country to the other. But it is always very much related to the local context and to the local situation, and you cannot immediately transfer the situation. Then I wanted to make one comment on the adoption by farmers. With this project, on the Ds-Slm project, we are actually combining two different things. On one side is the assessment of the land degradation. On the other hand, it is also what do we do with this information on the assessment, and how can we use it at the different levels to actually adopt more sustainable land management practices. That means we have to look at different levels. We have to look at what the farmers can do, but we also have to look at what the government institutions can do, what the extension services can do. We have to look also into the issue of, how to say, to give more incentives for investing into sustainable land management practices. Because at the end, what for the farmer counts is, of course, the production and the income that was mentioned several times. So we have to look into the socioeconomic context of how these production systems are working. And there it is important that we look in all the different stakeholders in the agricultural sector to promote sustainable land management practices, so that it is not only a question of conservation, it is also a question of continuing, you know, the agricultural production in a way that we do not explore our natural resources.
More question, otherwise we close and maybe conclude.
I just wanted to aid our colleague from Bangladesh asked. I'm not sure whether I understand the question, but I just want to explain that how it works. The compilation of that book, which documents so-called best practices, it can be technology or approaches, it would mean that these are the technology and approaches that have been found beneficial. Now, we can say what is beneficial. Beneficial of maybe the maintaining production or helping in conservation elsewhere in China. And these are available within the China for upscaling. it does not necessarily mean that China problem has been solved, maybe, but does not mean that. That means we have a technology, we have the approach within the China, and there are 800 of them. Now, how it can be selected? Probably when you do your Ds-Slm, you may come to know that it should be either experience-based, that in certain villages, certain farmers have found it is very, very useful, so that we can document, or it could be the research-based, that people have done the action research for so many years and they have found successful. But I think the consultation, that everybody should agree, I mean the people who work there should agree that yes, this is something, it is a good practice, we document. Now the WCAT give the guidelines that what to document. We just put a name, or what kind of information we put. So there is a format questionnaire, and WCAT provide that this is the standard way of documenting those things. Now, WCAT does not force that you use it, but it provides that opportunity that we have a choice. We have this problem, then around we look at that who other have the problem where they have documented that practice. So you may like to take and then apply, test and apply. So that is the opportunity, it says, yeah. Hope.
Any other? Otherwise, I think it's been a very productive afternoon. Gives you a flavor of what's going to happen in the next 3 days. If you want to get more information, please sign up the sign-up sheet. Also, get the agenda for the next 3 days and let us know if you're interested to come and join us, even though if you're not part of the participants list. But we can probably invite you to the session that you're interested, and we will talk to the organizers about it. Because if you stayed here and listened to this discussion, that means you're interested. Doesn't mean that you cannot attend some of the sessions of our forum. And again, it is a forum and not a conference. Why? Forum is a space to exchange ideas. We don't have to be prepared giving presentations, but we have to be prepared to share. That's all that we want from the participants. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much to all our panelists. Dr. Bunjadak.
All of that you give us for the knowledge and everything. And so, okay, right now we would like to welcome Dr. Pityakorn to give a souvenir to all of the experts over here. Okay. Okay, Dr. Somsi, please.
I stand here.
So thank you so much, Dr. Somsi. Yes, and Dr. Rajendra, Mr. Kukiet, Dr. Kukiet, please. And Dr. Ali, please. Dr. Wang, Dr. Ali. And Professor Wang, maybe Professor Rajendra, please. Professor Wang.